Okay, so I wish I could make a better long form content recap of the hsconnect.org weekend, the big meetup that I went to. I'm looking through all of my footage and clips that I took, and in all honesty, I didn't do the best job documenting my weekend. I ended up just really soaking in so much of everyone there and being present with the people who were there, because for me it was the first time I've ever been around people in person that also have HS. So I would be having conversations with people and they would be deep and they would be real conversations, and my brain wasn't like, hey, let's get this on video. So honestly, I feel a little bad that I didn't get more footage, especially with people. But as I get into talking about it, I have my laptop here off to the side so I can kind of like keep a timeline going. You'll kind of see that I was very shy for the first little bit. I was too shy to even go up to people and be like, can I get a picture with you? Because I was shy. I might not come across as shy in these videos, but I am, and I have to work through it. I have social anxiety. This weekend was a lot for me, so maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I at least took some footage. So I'm gonna look at my little timeline. I ended up I went to a hotel the night before because the airport was 3 hours from my house, and I didn't feel like getting up at 2 a.m. to get to the airport in time. So I did that. I had to do some face care because I have an HS spot in my cheek that was really acting up. Went to the airport, parked. That was a time. Found my flight. Ended up getting, this little clip here is all of us singing happy birthday in line to someone who was going on a trip for her birthday. Canadian airports for you. We sang happy birthday. Got my passport situation figured out, got through. If you know, you know. If you don't know about my whole passport thing, it's in a previous video. Got my ticket and we took off. The plane was a little crazy. It was super like turbulent. Turbulence is the word. But I made it. Instantly had to get changed because it is very hot in Texas. Walked around the Texas airport. Had to find my driver and the girls in the vehicle that were also going with me. It's so funny to think about how nervous I was being in the car with the girls. Not anything to do with them, just me being shy, and how close we were by the end. I wanted to go and lay down, but I think it was a blessing in hindsight because it forced me to go and find everyone, as you can see, and hang out with them. So I went and found Sydney, a bunch of the other girls. I was very nervous to go sit down and just introduce myself and interact, but I did, broke the ice. I also had lunch with a few of the girls. Finally got my room, showered, face care, got in my dress. I loved the dress that you guys picked out for me. And then we went to dinner. And the first night dinner was amazing. It was something that caused a lot of anxiety for me. I was very nervous. I pretty much walked in after getting lost at the resort, added stress, and just had this overwhelming feeling that I was there on accident. There were all of these people that I've watched for so long, some people that I hadn't watched and was just discovering, and I was just sitting there like, this is an accident. I am a last minute guest. I shouldn't be here. I am happy to be here, but I didn't feel like I should have been. Just insecurities. So I kind of just walked around and hung back and like tried to get the courage. Eventually just went and plopped myself down at a table and just decided to strike up conversation. I ended up thankfully sitting with some wonderful people. Xenia being one of them. She was one of the first ones that really helped me break the ice. Christina, Jazz, who I had lunch with. Joey was also at the table. Just wonderful people. And I ended up being able to come out of my shell and like really start talking and interacting. And by the end of the night, I felt right at home. I was like, okay, these people get it. Here, all going back. Best friends. It was pretty magical. The next morning I got up, I had a rough night's sleep, fine. Then I went down to do yoga and I saw an armadillo for the first time, freaked out, like happy freak out. I love wildlife, so I was like, this is so cool. We did some yoga. I love yoga, so that really helped just ground me and help settle me in for the day, which I really liked. Had breakfast. There's the amazing, wonderful Brindley who opened it up. We did a bunch of things together. That will be over on hsconnect.org. They were like team building, us all opening up about our individual experiences. It was quite beautiful, honestly. And then we went into education. We did art therapy. There were doctors. It was full of knowledge and insights into HS. I could make this entire video just about that. I'm not going to because this is a personal recap. And I also find that Brindley over at hsconnect.org does the best job at delivering material that's educational. I just share a lot of her stuff. I will also be making more educational material thanks to this big meetup that I went to. That being said, I'm not going to remake what she already makes. So there's just going to be a lot of sharing. But I will be doing more things to educate about HS. And I've also got a further education so that I can make sure what I'm talking about is factual and correct. Really enjoyed the art therapy. Now you can see in this video, my face. We're gonna have to talk about this for a second. I had a pretty big emotional moment. A little tidbit of information was just kind of like dropped of women who have HS have higher rates of miscarriage. I did not know that. I had a miscarriage a few months before going to the meetup. So that I kind of felt like I got punched in the face. I'm not gonna lie. Like I felt the air leave my body. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe for a second because I had no idea that because I had HS, I was at an increased risk of having miscarriages. So sad. Juliana was beside me. I love her with my whole heart. She came on day 2. I didn't get to see her the night before, but I was ecstatic when I got to meet her in person because I talk to her on Instagram quite frequently. I love her. So she was there for me. Crystal came over after and gave me a big hug. Everyone was very sweet and supportive. But a little early so we could go all hang out at the pool, which was a lot of fun. We ended up hanging out at the pool for a little bit too long and kind of looked at our clocks and was like, oops, we need to get upstairs for dinner. We were kind of like a bunch of unruly teenagers, honestly. It's like we had a bunch of people all in a pool that have HS. It was a really special moment for me, honestly, because I was so afraid of wearing bathing suits for so long, and then being in a pool full of people that all have HS in bathing suits, like looking at them and how beautiful and amazing they are. I'm just like, well, I'm not any different, so I really shouldn't care so much. So honestly, this weekend also gave me a nice confidence boost. All of the products I got, and then the next morning breakfast. I loved this breakfast. So many good conversations. Me and Sydney, I love her. She is so sweet in person, you guys. Like, we all know she's super sweet and amazing online, even more so in person. And then we all had to leave, and it was quite emotional. The bus ride was fun. Amazing conversations once again between all of us. The photo shoot. I have a bunch of content on my Instagram up from the photo shoot, so go there if you want to see more. But I made a whole outfit out of medical tape and gauze and bandages. It was a vision I had that Brindley let me bring to life. I was extremely nervous to do it because it just felt so vulnerable, but I did it. I haven't got the pictures back, but I'm sure they turned out great. Then we got locked. Then we had to go to the Airbnb because it was the last night. Got locked out of the Airbnb for just a hot second, and an emphasis on the hot. It was so hot out, I had to hide in the shade. The staircase to get up was very, very long, but it looked neat, so there's that. Seem connected to HS going into it, but it is for me in my journey. So comedy is a huge way I get through difficult periods in my life. But if you don't know, 6th Street in Austin, Texas has a ton of comedy clubs. Like, you mean to tell me I can now go and see these comedy clubs that have helped me through some pretty dark times The girls, Brindley, did not want me going alone because it is 6th Street. It's pretty crazy. But I was like, I can go. I can take care of myself. I am not leaving until I go and see this. So Laurel, who's from the UK, my heart loves her so much, was also like, I want to go to Target. And I'm like, well, let's go to Target and let's go to 6th Street. And the rest of the girls were like, you should still bring somebody. So Joey came with us to make sure that we stayed safe, and he was so much fun, and I was so happy that he chaperoned us so that we stayed out of trouble. And it was the best time and felt like the cherry on top of like my overall HS journey, going and meeting people with HS for the first time, getting so much information, and then going and hanging out with people who, not just that they have HS and that's what the connection's about, it's just that they're genuine, open humans that are so kind and make you feel so safe to be around them. It was wonderful. The next day was wonderful. I got to have breakfast with everyone, hang out with Juliana for a little bit more, and Laurel, which was nice, and Brindley and Sydney, and then I had to go, and I was really sad, and I totally cried in the Uber. He was just looking at me like, what is happening? And I'm like, I'm fine, I'm just gonna miss my friends. And I got on an airplane and got home and got to see my baby girl, which was just the best. I could sit here and go on for hours about how thankful I am to hsconnect.org and Brindley and Sydney for putting this together. It was truly life-changing in the best ways. I have never felt more confident and surrounded by love. The conversations have continued online. It's not like we all left and it's just poof, it's gone. Many of us are still talking every day. I could go on and on, but I know that you guys watching this didn't get to go. And I do feel like I have to be careful with my content to not come across as braggy, that I got to go to this huge meetup that you guys didn't get to necessarily be a part of, because they can't bring everyone in the HS community there. As amazing as that would be, it's just not possible. So I am trying to be careful with my content to not make people feel left out, because I know that for myself here in my hometown, I don't have anyone that I can go to talk to about HS that also has it, that also gets it. So I see this as such a privilege that I was able to go and attend this. And I hope that I can make you guys, even from afar, even if it's through DMs, if we're voice messaging back and forth, we can call. I will talk to you on the phone through Instagram, whatever you want, that I can make you guys feel like it's as close to real life as possible, because I feel like the real life connections are important. I hope that anyone I come across in real life that has HS and I get to meet, I can make them feel as wonderful as everyone that made me feel this weekend. So yeah, I have got questions on how to get invited to this, because it is yearly. That is up to Brindley and Sydney, and they tell me the same thing, because I was questioning why I was invited. I'm like, why me? It's simply, they invite people who share their HS story. If you're out there sharing your HS story, you never know, maybe you'll get to come. I consider myself extremely blessed and grateful and thankful that I was able to go, because I didn't think it would be something that I would be invited to. So I'm gonna stop there before I start crying and lose my ability to speak. So that's all for now. If you guys watch this, maybe I'll make some more long form content. We'll see. But that's all, guys. I love you. Bye.